Yeah. Living with diabetes, the challenges are real, but understanding your body, how you truly feel, that's where we start with Leon Rock's Guiding Hand on the African American Diabetes Podcast. Understand, we're talking blood sugar and healthy eating too, sharing stories and finding strength, me and you, from lifestyle changes to medical advice. We're building a community that's more than just nice. African American Diabetes, it's more than just a name. It's a journey to wellness, breaking free from the plane. Leon Rock's here to win.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you are listening to or watching this podcast. Hi, this is Leon Rock, and this is the African American Diabetes Podcast. Well, today, I'm so excited. You know how I get excited when I have some special guests. And while do I have some special guests that you all are going to learn from today? They are Samantha Mason and Sharon Mason. And by the way, you would think that they are sisters. Yeah, sisters, but they're not. That's mother and daughter, are two amazing people that you need to know about, because their walk in life is a walk that needs to be talked about, and it has been talked about, particularly in the DMV and across the country, by the way. But particularly the DMV. And if you don't know what the DMV is for, it's for the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia, the DMV, where I'm located as well. And this is the African American Diabetes Podcast. Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of background, but before I talk about their background, I want you to watch this video.
Yeah, in this evening's The Heart of It, our Sean Martinelli follows up with the inspiring young woman once known as the hero in pigtails.
This one is from the Charles County Commissioner's Office.
She's showing the tickets at the White House.
We often take for granted these kitchen table moments. But Samantha Mason and her mom Sharon know better.
Yeah.
They know how quickly these moments
What's wrong?
can be taken away.
You're just remembering?
Charles County 911.
My name is Samantha.
Your name is Samantha?
And I'm 4.
And you're 4?
15 years ago, Sharon nearly went into insulin shock. Samantha then made a call.
Is your mommy or daddy home?
Mommy's sick.
Your mommy's sick. Does she need an ambulance?
Mommy, she needs an ambulance. Mommy said to help her sugar.
Minutes later, help arrived. Sharon survived.
Is that the ambulance crew?
Uh-huh.
Okay, you need to show them where your mommy is, okay? Hi.
Hi, salute.
You got her?
Yep.
Okay, let me talk to Samantha again, please.
Hello.
Hi, Samantha. You did a really good job for your mommy, okay? Good job, sweetie.
All these years later,
To hear that tape, I still get emotional.
because Sharon knows without that call,
Sorry. Hold on.
she might not be here today.
She is the reason that I've gotten as far as I have. A lot of what ifs. Now that I'm older, I think I just see the true gravity of it.
So significant, the newspaper headline still hangs on the fridge.
A little hero in pigtails.
Much has changed since that day, except for this.
She has always said she wanted to be a doctor.
Samantha's gone from hero in pigtails to neuroscientist in training. She's currently a junior at the University of Maryland in College Park. If all goes as planned, she could save many more lives
That's the hope.
and give many more families
She's my best friend. I'm her best friend.
these kitchen table moments.
Welcome back to the African American Diabetes Podcast. Today we have an incredible, as I indicated, and deeply moving story of courage, awareness, and resilience in the face of a chronic condition that disproportionately affects our community. Yes, it's a story so impactful. It was featured, as you just saw, in news broadcasts here in the DMV, which, by the way, because of the internet, went across the country. I'm thrilled and honored to be joined by two amazing Black women, Sharon Mason and her daughter, Samantha Mason. Sharon is a dedicated mother, a longtime diabetic who has navigated the challenges of managing her health while raising, yes, Samantha. Her journey is one many of our listeners can relate to, I'm sure, because of her constant vigilance, the hidden battles, and the profound impact on the family dynamic. And joining her is her remarkable daughter, Samantha. Yeah, Samantha's own story of advocacy began at a tender age of 4 years old when she was recognizing that her mother was in distress, as you saw in the video, during a severe episode and at risk of, unfortunately, a diabetic coma. She took swift, life saving action by calling the emergency services. Yeah, 911. That heroic action is what has brought their story into the public eye on news media across the country. And it's what we want to dive into today. Samantha has since grown into an accomplished, and I'm going to say, my good friends, an accomplished young lady, an accomplished Black woman, pursuing her higher education, including time with an HBCU. And by the way, for those folks that don't know what an HBCU is, it's a historically Black college and university. And she is currently at the University of Maryland and is dedicating herself to advocacy in so many ways, which we're going to talk about. In fact, I first met her and had the pleasure of meeting Samantha when I spoke at Dr. Stephen B. Thomas's class, and she is one of a number of young scholars at the University of Maryland. Sharon and Samantha, I have to say thank you both for agreeing to share your, in many ways, intimate and powerful story with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I tell you, you are bringing joy into my life, and I'm sure you're going to bring joy into the listeners' lives as they hear your story directly from you, your life experiences. Let me set up a scene for you. Here's the deal, my good friends. There's a critical moment that happened, and we looked at it on the video that I showed earlier in the introduction. Sharon, let's begin with you.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me, Leon. I really appreciate it, for having Samantha and I. I'm a mother first, before anything. Mother. Of course, a lover of God, but mother first. And 37-year public servant for the federal government, recently retired. And now it's about my health and living a long, healthy life, longevity, to see Samantha blossom into the beautiful young lady that she is and is becoming. And so that's my sole purpose, is to be healthy, because without health, wealth, cars, houses, money,
Mm,
nothing is anything without your health.
that's right. Wow. You said it all right there. You're a mother first. Wow, how powerful is that? And dollars and cents and cars and all the other things, not that important when you don't have health. Health is wealth in so many ways. So when
Yes,
you talk about wealth, we're talking about health. Talk about your diagnosis with diabetes. When did you get diagnosed and how did that diagnosis happen?
it was 2009. I wasn't feeling good. I know the signs from my mother being insulin dependent most of my entire life.
Hmm.
So the day she passed, she was insulin dependent. And so I wasn't feeling good, sleeping a lot, which is not like me.
Hmm.
No energy, just fatigue, urinating more frequently than normal.
Hmm.
Um, Little blurred vision, but I'm thinking, oh, it's time for me to get my glasses. And so when I went for a physical, I asked, oh, can you also check my A1C through the blood? Because I remember my mom telling me you can go back 3 months.
Hmm.
And he said, you sure? Yes. And I remember where I was. I was in the hair salon and I said, oh, wait a minute. When they called me, I knew something was wrong.
Hmm.
And he says, you're pre-diabetic. And I said, my mother has always told me there's no such thing as pre, either you're diabetic or you're not. He said, just come to my office. I'm going to give you some metformin and you'll be okay. Metformin I took
Hmm.
twice a day, which was too much. So I would be at work and I would just feel so bad. And so my mom said, I've always told you to keep some peppermint, butterscotch, something in your purse too. If your sugar drops,
Hmm.
blood sugar, it'll raise it. I always had to do that for my mom. So I'm thinking, like, "Ah, right." So I would have to leave work. I would feel so bad. And one particular time, I don't know if Samantha knows about this. This is the first time, so you get it first. I passed out at the wheel.
Oh, wow.
And I remember the doctor saying to me, as a matter of fact, it happened twice.
Hmm.
Never told this to anyone. So
Hmm.
I don't know if she remembers my mom now. And he said, oh, it's probably vasovagal syncope, but I'm not thinking it's the metformin. And he says, well, if it happens again, I'm going to have to contact the motor vehicle. But this was the medicine.
Hmm.
And so that day, I was home. Samantha was home. It may have been a Saturday. I can't remember. And I said, Mommy doesn't feel good. I don't feel good. And so she said, okay, Mommy, I'm gonna go watch SpongeBob, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I remember. And um, I said, come and check on me. I just felt bad.
Hmm.
And I remember getting up to go downstairs and get something because I said, maybe my blood sugar has dropped. I don't remember anything else. And Samantha can take it from there because she heard a thump. But she did not come and see what the thump was at the time. She had to wait till commercial came on to come and check on me.
Which
Uh-huh.
thankfully was not very long. Let me just say that before you continue.
No, you take it from there. There was a thump. I could hear her,
Hmm.
but I couldn't speak.
Right.
And I promise you, and I said, I was going to get emotional. I could hear her, but I couldn't say anything. I could see her silhouette, but I couldn't say anything. And it's almost like what do you call it, Samantha? When you're dreaming and you're trying to wake up out of your dream.
Sleep paralysis.
Right, right.
Right.
So that's how it felt. So you take it from there.
No, that's perfect. Yes. Perfect, Samantha. You're four
Um,
years old, by the way, Samantha, right?
Yes, 4 years old. And I just have to say, I can't imagine how horrifying that must be from the perspective of my mom.
Hmm.
Um, I've been really adamant about the fact that I'm not particularly one who would like to have children, but I just can't imagine the fear and probably the frustration of hearing your 4-year-old child and not being able to reach out, being able to comfort, being able to pull yourself out of it. So that must have been horrifying. Like I can't imagine. And that's a little bit about what I was saying in the news segment that you all watched, is that as I get older, I understand the gravity of the situation. It's almost like every year, it's like another layer of wow. Um, but yes, picking up where you left off, Mom, I heard a thud. I was watching TV during the time,
Hmm.
but I heard that and I went into her room. I remember our rooms were like right across. I could look out of the room and see her room. I walked in and I saw her on the floor. And mind you, I've just turned 21 about a month ago, so it's been a while since I was 4. But an event like this is a little difficult to forget. But I do remember seeing my mom unconscious on the floor. I remember, I think, pushing her or tapping her, saying, Mom, Mommy, um, which would, coincide with what she was saying, how she could hear me, but she couldn't come out of it. And so
Hmm.
that's when I went and I got the phone and I called 911. And a huge point of this was that my mom my mom's mom, my grandma,
Hmm.
lived with us and was sick at the time. And she always taught me to call 911 for her while my mom was at work. So she always says she never thought in a million years that I'd have to use it on her. And so I remember little details. I feel like I remember her like making noises, but I don't know words, of course. And
Hmm.
so from then, that's when I call 911, and I'm just so proud of my 4-year-old self getting to the point, because as we know, kids play on the phone all the time.
Hmm.
Every year there's a call going viral of a kid calling 911 just to talk, but I got to the point and said, Mommy is sick. And I
Hmm.
feel like that's what really was the turning point of this whole thing that took it from kind of like took it to like a serious situation.
Right. So, what gave you the inclination to dial 911?
Seeing my mom doing something she'd never seen before,
Hmm.
mind you, I'm 4, but this is unlike mommy. It's only ever been my mom and I. I'm the only child of a single
Hmm.
mother who was also an only child. So my whole entire life has just been mom and I. And
Hmm.
so to see mom in that state, I think I immediately knew, even at the age of 4, this isn't right.
Right.
Something isn't right. Something isn't normal. And I think that's what pushed me into action. I never, in my 4 years of life at that point,
Uh-huh.
had mom not respond to me or act outside of how I expect her to.
So, you were 4 years old and you noticed that your mom wasn't responding. And we saw in the video, the news video, and I heard on the news video, and I'm not sure if that news video, was that actually the actual call?
Yes, they recovered the actual phone call. So that's me, my 4-year-old voice. That's the responder,
Hmm.
the dispatcher Jamie, which we reached out to her about last year around this time. We've had trouble making contact, but that's her. Those are the EMTs you can hear in the background. That is the completely real, authentic call.
Wow. Now, how's this experience that you've had being suddenly put on local and national, and in many ways international because of the internet news? How has this experience actually impacted you personally? Because this was relatively a scary event for both of you, right?
Absolutely.
So, with it being that scary, has this spotlight that you've been put in, has that impacted the way you are right now? Has it been impactful?
Is
Did
that
you want to answer first, Mom?
you? Take it
Well,
away.
I just remember you forgot I was four. I don't remember. I just remember my mom being so proud of me. And of
Hmm.
course, that's a great feeling. It's like I didn't even, like I said, I didn't understand what I did. I didn't know what I did was a good thing. I just knew that I did it, and everyone was proud. And of
Hmm.
course, in the news like paper, they did a like an interview, of course, when it happened then. And I just remember like they were asking me questions. I don't even remember the questions. I was just playing around. And that's the picture you see of me just playing. Like I was just a 4-year-old girl who happened to do a really great thing. And surprisingly, it hasn't impacted my life, now being 21,
Hmm.
in too many ways. And that's why I'm kind of wanting to raise this story. Even then, at 4 and 5 years old, I said I wanted to be a doctor. And I'm staying true to that. I mean, I feel like everything in life is just a matter of chance. And I just happened to be born into a rather older family.
Hmm.
My not even just my mom. She had me at 37. My grandmother, my grandfather, he was born in 1928. I tell people all the time, like he was in the Korean War. Your great grandfather? No, my grandfather.
Father. Ain't
And
that something?
so I think maybe it's kind of like a nature versus nurture thing where I've always just been pulled towards medicine and not just helping others, but being able to initiate change. So that's
Wow.
kind of where it's taken me now.
Yeah, it's been impactful in so many ways based on what you just mentioned. And Sharon, has it impacted you in certain ways?
Absolutely. I remember, and Samantha's absolutely correct. She had no idea. I don't even know
Hmm.
how I got the phone call. We'd like for you to come down to the our county where we lived, our
Hmm.
commissioner's office. And I was like, why? And they said, it's National Diabetes Awareness Month. It was in
Uh-huh.
November. And they said,
Hmm.
we're going to recognize. So I was like, okay. Again, I taught my daughter to dial 911 for mama and
Hmm.
grandma. Remember, grandma is on dialysis. If grandma is not talking, dial 911. Grandma is on dialysis and she's a diabetic. Okay, mommy. And she would go on and play. Never thought that would be for me.
Right, right.
Right? And so when we go down to the our forget it, Charles County Commissioner's office,
Uh-huh.
you see so my mom wasn't feeling good
Hmm.
from dialysis.
Hmm.
So my aunt went in place of my mom. So we look and we see all, my aunt said, did you know all of these people were going to be here? I said, no. And Samantha was like, why are they here?
Hmm.
I dressed her up so pretty in a pretty velvet dress, it was
Yes.
November, it's green.
Hmm.
As soon as we get off the car and they see her,
Hmm.
they just started coming up to us. And the 911 dispatcher
Oh
was
my.
there. She kneeled down and
Mm.
Samantha walked over to her and they hugged. And they were flashing, flashing, flashing from channel 7, channel 9,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
channel 5. And we go in and they're recognizing Samantha. And the tape is about 6 minutes, Sam.
Like the entire length of the call.
I'm going to send you the entire length of the call.
Hmm.
When Samantha says, hello, okay, Charles County 911, Samantha says,
Uh-huh.
hello. The dispatcher said she thought Samantha was playing on the phone because they get that often.
Hmm.
And she said, is your mommy or daddy home?
Hmm.
She said, mommy is sick. The dispatcher said she knew right then and there. Samantha was on CNN with Nancy Grace.
Hmm.
She was invited to the White House by the Obamas. Clinton Portis, shout out to Clinton Portis, he sent us to the Redskins training camp. All of these, at the time, it was just phenomenal. Like we were just treated, we were looking, and he wasn't there because I think he was injured or something, and Samantha wasn't feeling well. And shout out to the Obamas for inviting us to the White House Easter egg roll. It was just,
Wow.
but she still, all she knew is that my mommy was sick and I did what I was supposed to do.
Hmm.
I don't think she still really understood.
Right, right. Wow, how powerful of a conversation and story is this? This is the back end of your life in many ways, of your life.
Leon, when I heard the 911 call, of
Hmm.
course they capture everything. I put my head down and the tears were streaming when she said, Mommy's sick, Mommy has diabetes. And I remember, Lord, just help me, just help me. I couldn't talk.
Hmm.
And I said, soda. And Samantha said, I have to go get mommy some soda. She says on the call to help her sugar. And you can hear her going down the
Oh
steps.
my
And she said,
God.
no, sweetie, no, she can't have anything by mouth.
Hmm.
And Samantha stopped.
Hmm.
She said, I have to go get mommy some soda.
Hmm.
Oh, because she knew
Right,
that
she knew.
right?
Right.
But she would
Hmm.
ask questions.
Yeah.
She always asked questions. She saw my grandmother, her great grandmother,
Hmm.
diabetes. She saw her pass out before, right there in front of us. She knew my mom was sick from dialysis.
Hmm.
So she's always said she wanted to be a doctor, right? Or scientist. So I would call
Right,
her
right.
the scientist. Yeah. So
Hmm.
to hear that, to hear her voice, and then recognize like I'm gonna do what mommy says.
Hmm.
But then the dispatcher told her no. So then she said, I don't have any clothes on. I have to go put some clothes on. I just have a t-shirt on.
Hmm.
And she said, okay, sweetie, go. And it was the natural mother instinct. She said, go get your clothes on. And she said, now I have to pick up my toys because I don't want them to fall. Like when the paramedics came in and she told her, go open the door.
Hmm.
And Samantha opened the door and next thing I know, whatever they gave me, I came to, and the tears were coming, and yeah, and I remember the dispatcher saying, the guy said, "Hello, this is Lou. I got her," and she said, "Let me talk back to Samantha," and she said, "You did a wonderful job, sweetie," and Samantha was like, "Okay, thank you."
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
okay, whatever.
Samantha is an angel. She's your angel in so
Absolutely,
many ways. Don't you agree?
absolutely.
She
Go
calls
ahead.
me her miracle baby all the time. Even at
Oh.
21, I'm the miracle baby.
Facts.
Wow. Now let's talk a minute because this is important what you mentioned about your family history, your moms and other members of your family actually being diabetic. When did you when did you learn about your mother's diabetes?
Probably was I was probably 8 or 9, and
Hmm.
my father instilled in me.
Hmm.
Mama, this is what he would say to me, is diabetic. Mama
Hmm.
takes insulin. If mama asks you to go get her something, go get her some orange juice. He explained that to me. And my mom was in and out the hospital. She was insulin dependent.
Hmm.
So she was in and out of the hospital a lot, but she continued to be an IRS tax auditor and travel internationally. 40, I think 42 years of the IRS when she retired. So to me, she's the real hero. She beat diabetes in another way because she continued to work and travel abroad while being insulin dependent.
Wow.
And the time period in which she was doing this, when we didn't have all the resources that we have now,
Hmm.
pardon, in the technology that we have now, it's super commendable. Like that must have been so difficult. So I can only imagine. I just wanted to add that because
Hmm.
you have to think about the context before all of the new treatments and before all of the ways to monitor your glucose levels, before all of this. she was making it happen. So that my grandmother is a pillar of strength for me as well. So I can just wanted to add that.
Okay. Yes. And by the way, your grandmother was living in a time almost now, unfortunately, similar to the time we're living in now in so many ways. But your grandmother lived in what part of the country?
Well, my grandma, I mean, my mother was from North Carolina.
North Carolina.
My
Hmm.
mother was from North Carolina, Kinston, North Carolina, in that
Hmm.
small town. So, and when she moved to DC, of
Hmm.
course, and then there's a 15-year age gap between my mother and my dad.
Right,
Right?
right.
And so, my mom, my mom, all of her sisters except one were diabetics.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
So you come from, in many ways, a diabetic family.
my grandmother too.
Your grandmother too. Yeah. So with that in mind, diabetes has impacted your family in so many ways, and you all have learned how to manage it, how to manage diabetes. How has managing diabetes been impactful for your life? Now, we know about that incident, unfortunate incident that happened while your daughter was 4, but how has it been since that time? Has it been the ups and downs of diabetes management and challenges, or has it been
Absolutely.
easy?
It's it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Ups and downs, a very high stressful job
Mm-hmm.
that I did for 37 years.
Mm.
I've worked for 41 years straight. When I looked at my Social Security statement, there was no break.
Right.
So, a high stressful job,
Mm-hmm.
helping my mom with my dad until the day he passed.
Mm-hmm.
And when my dad passed, now it's just my mom and I.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm taking care of my mom. Now there's my daughter. So I'm taking care of a toddler, working on my master's, 100% taking care of my mom, and I'll do it again if I had to do it. So grabbing something just on the go, chips, whatever, hard, working from home in unprecedented times, very hard. Access to the kitchen, from my office to the kitchen. I don't feel like let's get some chips. Oh, let me
Mm.
go to Wawa and get a donut.
Come on.
Hard.
It's hard.
So it's time for me to go get my A1C check, which I still do with the
Mm-hmm.
endocrinologist. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'm scared straight. Hey Sam, um, can you fix mom something good, healthy?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they say my A1C, when I was so stressed out, and this is another part of me retiring. I
Mm-hmm.
could have retired 2 years ago. When
Mm-hmm.
my A1C went up by from 6.1 to 6.3 within 3 weeks, it's time.
Mm.
Time for me to decide. Okay, my daughter is 21. I'm 58. My mom passed at 68, 13 years ago. I want to live. I don't, I know for a fact that not taking care of myself with my managing my diabetes can lead to kidney failure, right? I
Mm-hmm.
also know that heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, wait, something's going on. I pay a lot of money for insurance. Got called me. I called a nephrologist.
Mm-hmm.
I got another cardiologist, a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic endocrinologist, and shout out to one of my doctors who Samantha shadowed, and she gave me a list of African American doctors that are dynamite. And so she said, I just love the way
Mm.
you go into action. And
Yes.
so the nephrologist, uh, wonderful. He changed my two prescriptions for hypertension. He
Mm-hmm.
said, "They're damaging your kidneys.
Mm.
You know why you're getting gout?" I said, "I shouldn't have gout at 58." He said, "This medicine and this medicine, who put you on this?" I said, well, my regular doctor and then a
Mm-hmm.
cardiologist. And he was like, no, one medication. You
Mm-hmm.
know, when I went back to get my CBC, complete blood count,
Mm-hmm.
my primary care followed
Mm-hmm.
up and said, what did you do? Your numbers look excellent.
Mm-hmm.
My A1C went down by 3.
Wow.
Kidney function, they said I was stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to him back in my nephrologist in August, you know what he said? Because now they have, it's technology. They have
Right.
this whole
Right.
system. He said, how long have you been diabetic? Since 2009. No medication, just diet and exercise. I said, I'll be honest with you. I exercise sometime and my diet is good sometime. He said, I don't even see a stage 2 kidney failure.
Hmm. What?
My God, I thank you.
Yes.
Do I still cheat? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
All Samantha has to do is say, "Hey, mom, guess what I did good in this exam?" You did?
You did? Yeah.
When she's home, when she's home, I'm so happy. I'm gonna be honest. It's a
Mhm.
struggle.
Yes.
She picks me meals and snacks and prep
That
that
are healthy.
healthy,
Yes, that are healthy.
all healthy, that
Right.
I don't crave the sweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's amazing how she's been so receptive as well, because even when I was younger, I mean, that was one of the questions that would come up is
Mm-hmm.
how, like, to my mom, how are you managing?
Right.
And I definitely would try to encourage her to, make better choices and let's be more active. And of course, it was hard, and I didn't understand that. But even hearing such a extensive family history of diabetes, it was a wake up call for me, because about a year ago, I was diagnosed as pre diabetic. And I
Mm-hmm.
think might have been a year or two, maybe I was 19 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
2 years since I was 19, I hadn't even, like, I wasn't even out of the teens yet. And I'm already pre diabetic. It was horrifying. It
Mm-hmm.
was like my world was coming down. I was like
Mm-hmm.
crashing down
Mm-hmm.
in me. I was like, this is like, of course, you never think it, especially when you're so young. You see your parents and your grandparents and your
Mm-hmm.
aunts and uncles, so you don't really think much of it. But when I was faced with that, I was like, I have to make a change, because of course it's so easy to just fall into bad habits. Of course, it's easy to be sedentary. It's easy to, and especially knowing that you have such a family history and that your chances are so high. It was not something I ever thought about until I was sitting in the chair. And I remember my doctor, my primary care, she's the best ever. She left me a message and was like, I'm very concerned. Your A1C is this, and you are pre-diabetic, Samantha. It was horrifying. Now I am
Like,
no
I'm
longer.
aggressively concerned, she said.
Oh, yes, that was her exact verbiage. She is aggressively concerned,
Mm-hmm.
because I've also, since going through puberty, I've always struggled with weight management. So it could be a little bit of lifestyle, a little bit of, genetic predisposition, but it's a whole lot of choice as well. So that was something that pushed me to make better choices. And we kind of, my mom and I did it together. And of course, it was horrifying for my mom to hear that her 19-year-old daughter has, like, she was so upset. She was so horrified and upset. And we, like, that day, she definitely cracked down on me. So we've kind of been holding each other accountable through all of this. And thankfully it's been good.
This is an amazing conversation, an amazing story of strength and resilience.
Yeah. Living with diabetes, the challenges are real, but understanding your body, how you truly feel, that's where we start with Leon Rock's Guiding Hand on the African American Diabetes Podcast. Understand, we're talking blood sugar and healthy eating too, sharing stories and finding strength, me and you, from lifestyle changes to medical advice. We're building a community that's more than just nice. African American Diabetes, it's more than just a name. It's a journey to wellness, breaking free from the flame. Leon Rock's here to empower.